Hello, hello, hello. Today I want to chat about somatic release and coming out of the winter of your life. Somatic work has been some of the most profound work that I have ever done on my own healing journey. It's been many years of self-medication in our own ways. It's been many years of on-again, off-again talk therapy, yoga, like obsessing and being crazy about eating and going to the gym and just having all this structure and rhythm, and it's been exhausting. And then I stumbled across somatics, intuitive movement, dance. It really came to me through dance. And then I kind of explored somatics as a gateway to deepen. So dance was really something that woke me up to this body, because before I learned about somatics, before I started doing all of this ceremony work and all the moon stuff and all the cyclical stuff and just really coming back to the natural pace of my nervous system, of my body, of my seasons, it really was like all in my head. Everything was so mental, everything was so logical, everything was so up here and disconnected to here. And what was really going on for me in this vessel, in this body. And it was dance that woke me up from that spell, from that place of I need to understand it to fix it. Because sometimes, no, not sometimes, I will say that I do think there comes a point in people's healing journeys, especially if it's been trauma or chronic illness, any form of chronic fatigue, lots of shutdown and tiredness, disorientation, dissociation, these states of being, a lot of fight or flight, freeze, fawn response, those kinds of states. If your healing journey has had any of that in it, and mine has had plenty, I really think there comes a point in this journey where you have to set down the story, the mental model of needing to understand and really intellectualize everything. It is so good. It is so necessary to intellectualize. It is so necessary to understand the way you are and why you are, and to get clear on, your inner child or some past wounds, and to really hold that and understand it and be able to sit with it in all of its mess and glory. And there comes a time where you really need to set the story down, and you just need to leap into the unknown, and you need to be with the feeling of life as it is now, as your body feels life now. And if you're anything like me, you've probably experienced bouts of depression, bouts of chronic fatigue, lengths of period where you're just lethargic and you don't have any energy, there's no vitality, you feel shut down, you almost feel like you're a ghost of a past version of yourself. Maybe you reflect on moments in your life where you just remember feeling more vital and like more fun and more open to life, and now you're feeling dulled and dampened and depleted. It's totally necessary, because when you go through trauma, your body goes into self-protection mode. When you go through any form of fight or flight, any change in your nervous system that takes it out of like a content homeostasis, a nice balanced place, and you don't come back to that balance, you are now irregular, and your body is just fighting to stay safe. And that has been my experience for quite some time. And when I found dance, I was immediately brought back down into my body. It did not matter about the last 6 years. It did not matter about what happened to me when I was a kid. It did not matter, what I was going through right then and there. It was literally just how my body was feeling. And that was it. It was just being with my feelings and expressing my feelings: grief, anger, joy, ecstasy, love, devotion, sadness, fear, terror, anxiety. The list goes on, right? With my body. It was like the dam just opened and I was able to just give a new language without words, without meaning, to some of the experiences that my body has literally walked through all of these years. And I have been just ignoring it and only connecting with it through my intellect rather than with this body, this vessel, this body that can feel, right? And sense and smell and be on the earth, with the earth, can feel myself and other people. Like that was what was missing for me. That's what got shut down through all of my many experiences. And that's just what happens. That's what our body does. That's not wrong. That's our body protecting ourselves. And so somatics really opened me up. I started loving dance, but it was more of like a creative expression. I wasn't really connecting with any healing yet. I was just expressing, how my body was feeling in that moment, just through fun movement. Yoga really helped as well, but once I got into somatics, I really started to slow down and drop out of my head and deeply into the muscles of my body. Some days this looked like crazy shaking, I had so much anxiety, I had a lot of anger, frustration, I was just shaking, I needed to get this out of my system. And then other days it literally felt like I was a boulder and no force in this world could move me, and I would spend 15, 20, 40 minutes on the floor or the earth huddled in a fetal position, or just being a boulder, or just holding myself and breathing. And to someone outside, or maybe if I was in a yoga class, maybe to the teacher or other students, I would look like I wasn't doing anything. But really, in those moments, I was simply breathing with the grief and the heaviness and the lethargy and the tiredness that my body has been feeling. And I would just bounce between all this energy, this excited energy, this anxious energy, this energy that needed to release because it was too much for my body. And then I would sit with the deeper, darker, more stagnant, lethargic, stuck. This is the freeze response of our body, of our nervous system, right? That place, I would just sit there and feel it without any judgment, without any story, without needing to fix it. That's what somatics has brought to my life. It's dismantling my need to fix myself, my need to, or desire, or this obsession that we all have with self-help and healing ourselves and being better. Really, it's just about being. And somatics was the way that I remembered my body is my home. My body is my vessel. These feelings that I feel are not wrong. Excuse me, I'm burping now. These feelings that I'm feeling are not wrong, but they are essential, and they are evidence of the life that I have lived up until now, and they need my attention. My body needs to slow down. My mind can go hundreds of thousands of miles in seconds. My body cannot move that fast. And so it's finding the balance between the dreams and my mind and where my vision wants to take me, and letting the body integrate, because the body can't keep up with all of that. And we live in a culture that is just push, 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 go, 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 do more, do this, do that, find the answers from out there, take this pill, do this thing, this will cure you, just so that you can keep going. Somatics reminds us, over time and in its own way, that there's really like nothing to do. And really we need to drop back into being and to remembering that there's a time and place for rest. There's a time and place for creativity. There's a time and place for doing and exerting and going and manifesting, if that's what's in your world. And there's a time for loss and grief and release. And then there's a time for emptiness, for death, for stagnation. There's a time for re-energized growth that comes after that. There's a time of blossoming, but it's not always about blossoming. And I wanted to sit in front of these flowers today because they have been blossoming maybe for the last month, and some of them are starting to wilt. Some of them are starting to leave. Some of them are just becoming. Others are passing away, and some haven't even bloomed yet. This is the medicine of being here, being in this body, doing cycle work, connecting with the moon, moving your body. Over time, I've been doing this work for, since the pandemic, so it's 2025 now, so 5 years consciously I've been doing somatic work. Maybe 2 years before that it came through dance and yoga, and then before that it was just a lot of talk therapy and a lot of running away and a lot of self-medicating, right? A lot of ignoring the body with booze and alcohol and just going and running and overdoing, overbeing. One second, I think someone's fire alarm is on. Okay. Yeah, so there was a lot of running away and just distraction and overdoing and keeping myself busy so that I wasn't thinking and feeling the trauma that I had walked through. Some of it was terrifying. There was a lot of grief. There was a lot to reckon with, and my nervous system didn't have the capacity at the time to hold that in any safe way. And over time, through yoga and talk therapy and journaling and just growing and letting life teach me, my capacity to feel deeply broadened. And then I was okay and I was ready. That doesn't mean it was comfortable to do somatic work in a more conscious way, in a more deliberate way. And it really opened up my world. It really helped me see that my body has the capacity, the wisdom, the knowledge to work through what it is feeling right now if I am just courageous enough and spacious enough to check in and to let whatever feeling is here be heard, named, and truly felt. So sometimes this looks like shaking, right? Moving the body, lots of anxiety, moving it up, getting the fires of my body lit so that it can burn away. And other times, these parts of me are very tender and they just want to be softened. They want to be held, they want to be honored as they are gently just placed upon the metaphorical earth of my psyche and laid to rest. That's it. There's no story, there's no need to say, well, this happened to me when I was this age and I've been carrying this and doing that. It's all good to have that knowledge, and there comes a point on this journey where the story is the reason you are still stuck. And I say that with so much love because I have been through it. I know that feeling. We identify with our stories. They make us who we are. They always will. And we are free to choose and free to be something new in every moment. Our body literally holds all the wisdom of release, of growth, of stagnation, of boon and abundance, of death and rebirth, if we are just still enough to listen. And it's really hard to do in this world, because if you're like me and you've been on this journey, you know that you live in a world that does not understand it fully, that even fights against it, and it can be hard to prioritize resting and slowing down and being in a world that is saying, just fix it, just go to therapy, just eat this, just do this thing, just take this supplement, just ABC. It's not that hard, and it's not that simple. It is about being in this body, being in this vessel, coming back to the home that is you. And that doesn't mean that we don't get support when we need it. It simply means that we remember that this body is always talking to us. And shaking and somatic movement and somatic expression are huge tools that can help regulate your nervous system. So somatic is a big buzzword, I guess, nowadays. To me, all it really means is being here in the body, being in the felt experience of what is real, and letting that lead, letting that guide. Somatic is being in the senses of the body, the felt senses, and that includes the mind, right? It's the balance of mind, body, and spirit, mind, body, and soul. We are here to be here in this vessel. And if you've experienced trauma, if you've experienced chronic illness, chronic fatigue, we tend to get up here into our minds, and we tend to dissociate, to get flighty, to think about the future or the past, but never be here. Somatics brings us here so that we can merge what has happened and what will happen and move from this space into the next space, whole and integrated, rather than fragmented and dissociated, dismembered. I just wanted to pop in and share some of that because I personally have been going through what I would call the winter of my life the last couple of years. These drones are really driving me nuts. This world is so loud. Okay. Yeah, so I have been going through what I would say is a winter of my life for the last couple of years. I went through some really hard things, lots of grief, lots of shutting down, walking through moments of contraction, and just really going underground with my life and my life force, and lots of shame, and just there was a lot there that I was navigating over the last few years, and I'm slowly beginning to feel spring and summer energy come in, but it's not quick for me. My body is still so lethargic, and I haven't been doing somatic work for, I don't know, maybe 6-7 months since it got really bad, and I just really wanted to remind myself, and for those going through anything like this, that it's a process. It's cyclical, it's spherical, it's spiral-like. You know, we come back to the same positions with new awareness, with new integrity, with new opportunity and perspective. And my first round of conscious somatic work that happened between 2020 and 2022 was beautiful. And then I had my dark night of the soul, my winter. And now I'm coming back out of it, and I'm like, oh, right. it's time to like feel and create safety in my body. And that to me is what somatic work is. It's creating safety in the body again so that we can live our most vital, our most full, our most magnetic self again. And sometimes that requires laying to rest who we have been in the past, sitting with the bones of who we once were, and sitting with the bones that are becoming. Maybe they're not fully grown. Maybe we're not fully put together yet, but we're in this liminal space of becoming. And that's where I feel like I am. And somatics is just, to me, one of the biggest supports, the biggest tool that I have. And it can be so simple. It isn't always about loud dancing or movement or shaking, which is good. It can sometimes be literally laying on the earth outside under a tree, breathing. It can be swaying. It can be humming. It can be making sound and just connecting hand to hand, body to body, bringing yourself down and in into a softer place until your body is regulated. For me, coming out of winter means I need to get some momentum, but my body is so tired that I can't just like go straight for the momentum. I have to sit there and I have to move slowly. I have to roll. I have to stretch long, and I have to let myself yawn. Yawning is a huge symptom of somatic release. It indicates that, no, I don't think I want to get in there yet. Yeah, maybe I'll save that for a different video. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, so coming out of winter is just where I am. And I have been working over the last 2 years, been holding moon ceremonies and doing cycle work and all this stuff and attuning to the seasons of the earth. And yes, it is absolutely spring here. And my body is showing signs of spring, but my body is also a little bit behind the earth this year, and that's totally fine. And that's just me letting myself remind myself that I am of no use to this world, to my job, to my significant other, to my kids, to my responsibility, to whatever it is I have going on, if I am not capable of showing up for myself as I am with where I am. And so slowing down, all this somatic work, all this cycle work, all this seasonal work has really helped me lay to rest what just is not necessary in my life and bring to life what is. And this is seasonal. Not everything lasts forever. Not everything blooms forever. We get to enjoy the blooms. We get to cherish the life that is here, the creativity, the energy, the vitality. And then we get to be with the falling away, the turning of soil, the death, the stillness, the whisper of new life to come, and then to start all over again. So these are just some thoughts about where I am. I'm really hoping that wherever you find yourself and wherever you are on your own journey, that you are feeling just so proud of how far you've come, and that it really isn't about fixing yourself. There is nothing to fix. You are already whole, you are already complete, but there are things that do need to be let go so that you have more space, more capacity to do the things that actually matter. And so if you're feeling out of alignment, it's not because there's something wrong with you. If you're feeling tired, if you have chronic illness, if you are depressed, there's nothing wrong with you. You're simply learning that what you are doing is not in alignment, and things are asking to be shifted. My question to you is, where can you soften? Where can you be in this moment, in your life, in your body, right now? And what can fall away? even just a little, so that you can be here just a little bit more attuned to the heart, to the wisdom of your solar plexus, the place of your power and identity, to your womb or your sexual organs, your root, this place of belonging and worthiness, inherent belonging, inherent worthiness. That is what is real. The world is super loud, and it will tell you exactly who you are if you let it. Or you can soften and you can listen and you can let your body release. And you can come into what is real for you. And you can remember that you are ultimately whole. You are ultimately wise. And you don't need to fix yourself. Sending all my love.